What's going on, everybody? Wes Hodkowitz here on Packers Preview, joined alongside my colleague, Mike Spofford, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot. Mike and I here to preview the Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears this Sunday, 3:25 p.m. Central Start Time on Fox. What a matchup, Mike. We've talked about it all week long. Now we are less than 48 hours away. Unbelievable. The Packers-Bears, 8-3-1 versus 9-3.
Yeah, first place in the NFC North on the line, and for all we know, the rematch in a couple of weeks is going to be an even bigger game than this one, but this one's awfully big.
And this is the one that we're selling in this edition of Packers
That's right.
Preview. We'll be here for the next 10 to 15 minutes answering all of your questions on X, Facebook, and YouTube. You can submit those. Our social team will send them over to me. And as I always say, as we allow those to populate, I will introduce you to the Packers injury report. It's already changed since the moment in which I've written it, because we now know that Devontae Wyatt, which was just an inevitability, goes on injured reserve. So the Packers have 4 guys who will be out for this one. That's Lucas Van Ness, Savion Williams, kind of the bigger name ones. You also have Marshawn Lloyd and Colin Oliver, who are working their way back from the reserve list, are not on the 53-man roster yet. 5 questionable players, though, Mike. And on top of that, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden. When you're looking at the Packers receiving core, they're getting closer and closer, it looks like, to getting that unit together. Reed, on injured reserve, designated return, would have to be added to the 53, but it sure looks like time is getting close.
Yeah, it definitely is getting close, and we'll know by tomorrow afternoon at some point if Jaden Reed is indeed going to be activated for this game. That transaction would have to take place on Saturday. But yeah, you said it. Reed is listed as questionable. Golden is listed as questionable. Maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed, the Packers might be full strength at wide receiver.
Your other 3 questionable players are Nate Hobbs, coming back from the knee injury. He's missed the last 3 games. Javon Bullard is questionable. He missed the last two practices, with the ankle injury he sustained in Detroit. And then also Brenton Cox Jr., who has not played since the opener against Detroit due to a groin injury. He had his window opened and designated a return on Monday, and potentially could be in the cards as well for Green Bay. And if they don't have Lucas Van Ness, maybe that's a guy that could help them out. Be that as it may, Bullard was a guy that I think received a lot of praise this week from both Jeff Hafley, this morning from Matt LaFleur.
No doubt.
The way he has stepped up in year 2, I think everybody feels it. And especially in that nickel cornerback spot, as we've learned, really an essential position here in Jeff Hafley's defense.
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to Javon Bullard at the end of last season, just kind of going over his rookie year, and he talked about how coming into the NFL as a rookie and having to learn the slot position as well as deep safety and trying to process all that in your first season in the NFL was a lot. I mean, he admitted it was really difficult. And then he was dealing with an injury at the end of the season as well. He came into his second season just, everything about the playbook and the multiple positions and all that. Like, he was so much further ahead than where he was as a rookie, and it's shown in his play. And as you said, the coaches have had nothing but praise for him. Bullard he's a big part of this defense. Hopefully he can still be available on Sunday against the Bears. If not, that's a significant loss for Green Bay.
All right, let's jump into the questions because they're rolling in here. We'll start with Zane on Facebook. Not Zane Anderson. This is Zane Allen Hand.
Okay.
His question is how well do you think we will stop the run without Devontae Wyatt?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I think the Packers have the personnel to be able to contain the Bears' running game pretty well without Devontae Wyatt, and that's not a knock on Wyatt. But the reason I say that is I think the Packers are going to miss Wyatt more in terms of the interior pass rush than they are with the run stopping, because Colby Wooden, Carl Brooks, Nazir Stackhouse, Warren Brinson, they've got a lot of different guys they can rotate in to stay fresh as far as trying to stop the run. Devontae Wyatt was head and shoulders, I think, the best interior pass rusher of that bunch, and I think that's where the Packers are going to miss him the most.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because the second level of that defense, too, will be getting an assistance. We know this for a fact now. Quay Walker missed the last 2 games with a neck injury, the stinger. He is back. The Packers did not even put him down with the game status, so he will play Sunday against the Bears. And Carl Brooks, who missed last week's game against Detroit on the short turnaround dealing with the ankle, he was upgraded to full participation today at practice and also will play, so they'll have Brooks available as well. Okay, Jack on X When will Matthew Golden get a tutty? Well, first off, they got to get him back on the field.
Yeah.
But, I know this has been sort of an overplayed storyline. Me personally, I feel that way because I think when he's been healthy, he's made some big plays, and he's just been really a fraction of a hair away from a touchdown in a couple different instances, especially on explosive plays. But again, it goes back to what I said in the intro. When you get Golden back, when you get Reed back, you don't have Tucker Kraft. But boy, golly, now you have a receiving core the way you originally projected it going into the season.
Yeah, and all you have to do is look at last week's game in Detroit for just sort of you never know what's going to happen in this offense and who's going to step up, right? Dontavian Wicks, who production very minimal, dealing with injuries and all that throughout the course of the year, suddenly has a 90-plus yard, 2-touchdown game on Thanksgiving in Detroit. That can happen with any guy in this offense, and it could happen with Matthew Golden as soon as Sunday if he's good to go and gets cleared and gets out there.
This question is from Kim. It's actually more of a statement. I'm your basic average girl, and I'm here to save the world. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. That's 1772 Big Boom. 1772 Big Boom. You call that number, you might get an interesting response. All right, this question is from Junior Guzman on Facebook. Is number 11 going to play this week? That is the $1 million question.
That is what everybody is waiting to find out. And it sounds like from when Jaden Reed has talked to reporters this week, he's still kind of waiting to find out as well, because everything we're hearing is that he hasn't officially been cleared by the medical staff to play in a game yet. Now, would that happen sometime today, sometime tomorrow? That's the hope, obviously. But until that happens, we're still in wait-and-see mode.
Hey, guys. This is from Jeremy Hadler on YouTube. Hey, guys. What is your favorite Packers-Bear rivalry game/moment? You answered it in inbox today. I'm answering it in inbox for tomorrow. You can use that if you want. You can use a different one if you want. What do you have for a response?
Well, yeah, there's different ones for me. I mean, as far as my entire lifetime, the first NFL game, and I've told this story in inbox before, the first NFL game I ever attended in person, I was 12 years old, December of 1984, Packers-Bears at Soldier Field, and the Packers ended up winning the game when Rich Campbell threw a Hail Mary-ish type of pass to Philip Epps in the last minute of the game for a touchdown. Now, the Bears that year went all the way to the NFC Championship game. The Packers went nowhere. But that was a huge upset, the Packers going into Soldier Field in December and winning that game, and that was the first NFL game I ever attended in person.
That's really the only thing the Packers were kind of good for in the 80s, it seems like. They just played the spoiler in a bunch of these. They beat Washington, right, with the highest scoring Monday Night Football game ever. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. I didn't go to any Packers-Bears games when I was a kid, not that I recall. So when I've answered this question, I've always said it's the 2013 regular season finale. I'm saying it again tomorrow in inbox.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the standpoint, if you can envision where the press box is, we are in basically if it's a clock, we're in the 5 o'clock area of the field. And the play was going away from us. And I'll never forget, obviously tensions are high, excitement is at its absolute premium. Aaron Rodgers just came back from the collarbone after we talked for months about when Aaron Rodgers was going to play again. And I will never forget, for whatever reason, my eyes were really dialed into Randall Cobb on the play. And I uttered to Pete Doherty, my colleague at the time, I'm like, Cobb's wide open. And sure enough, you know the rest of the story. Yeah.
Jason Wilde actually kind of a little louder than you said exactly the same thing, was like, he's wide open. I mean, I remember that. I remember that as well. You and I weren't sitting next to each other for that one like we have for the last
I was still a Pox
10 years. But
back then.
But
yeah, now I'm a Pox. I was still a writer back then.
That was definitely memorable. The other one I'll mention too, and this goes back to actually my Press Gazette days when I didn't cover the Packers, but on occasion I was assigned to come to the home games at Lambeau Field and go to the visitors' locker room to write stories about the visiting team afterward. So this is pre-2003 renovation. This would have been in 2000. And back then, if you were going to the visitors' locker room after the game, it was actually a lot easier to leave the press box and go down on the field at like the 2-minute warning. So then you could kind of just walk up the tunnel and you got to the old visitors' locker room a lot easier that way. So I was actually down on the field when Brian Robinson from the Bears, it was the Hand of Walter game. Brian Robinson blocked Ryan Longwell's chip shot field goal on the last play of the game. The Bears were winning, and the field goal would have given the Packers the victory. It was a 1 or 2 point margin. And I was on the field and heard, the thud when like he blocked the field goal, and the Bears went crazy and everything. It was kind of surreal to be actually standing like that close to it, and that's not something that happens anymore because we have a whole different route of how to get to the locker room after the game. But I remember that because that was the Sunday after Walter Payton had passed away. And so the Bears in the locker room attributed, and I remember it well because I was writing the stories about it, they attributed Brian Robinson blocking that field goal to the Hand of Walter. And that's how the Bears won that game.
Did anybody say that Brian's kick was just too low?
Actually, no.
That part got.
But at least not from the Bears locker room. They credited it to the late Walter Payton.
There you go. Couple more minutes here. Mike Spofford, West Hockwitz. Packers preview brought to you by Microsoft Copilot. Taking a look at this match between Green Bay and Chicago. Ton of questions this week, so I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get to them all. I'll try to get to as many as I can. Jeep Fan 436 on YouTube. How do you think Micah and the D-line will do against the Bears offensive line? And I'm going to do my thing where I weave in another question.
Yeah.
And this one's from Brian Costner on Facebook, no relation to Kevin.
Not that you know of, anyway.
Not that I'm aware of. How many sacks will Parsons have in this game? So let's answer this in 2 parts. How many sacks will Micah Parsons have in this game? Let's get a prediction from you on that. And then 2, how will the Packers fare against this front?
I think Parsons is going to get a sack of Caleb Williams.
Which one would be amazing.
Yeah, because he is extremely elusive back there in the pocket. But as Micah Parsons said himself when he spoke to the media on Thursday, when you face the Chicago Bears, you face a running offense like this, you have to earn the right to rush the passer, and you earn the right by containing the run, not letting them control the line of scrimmage and control the down and distance and everything like that. So that's going to be the biggest challenge for the Packers, is to actually put the Bears' offense in the passing situations where guys like Parsons can get after it. If they can do that, the Bears' offensive line is not the greatest from a pass protection standpoint. This is very much a run-blocking offensive line, and they've been very successful that way. But Caleb Williams has been running around back there for a reason. It's because he's under pressure a lot when he does have to throw. Those are the situations the Packers have to get them in.
I like how you said that. Because I think when you look at Caleb Williams, there's that added dimension. I'm sure some people saw the Mike Clemens video that I think has been circulating on social media. Micah Parsons running around, guys trying to corral him. That's the type of athlete you're dealing with. Parsons just happens to have that skill set while also being a defensive lineman.
Yeah, I mean, a defensive end essentially who has a 4.39 40 time from the combine.
Which is faster than
Caleb's. Yeah, which is faster than the quarterback. And Caleb Williams is as elusive as it gets. He is a Houdini back there in terms of getting out of sack situations.
If I get myself to laugh, I can't keep it straight. Okay, we'll answer a couple more here and we're going to get out. This one's Gilly Gang. Thank you again for joining us, Gilly Gang. Wesley to Weston. If Hobbs is active and Bull isn't, do you guys think he plays the slot where he thrived in Las Vegas and can finally show his true skill set? I've been saying, Mike, I think this is the one thing where, unfortunately for Nate Hobbs, he's been in, well, one, just been the injuries. But two, he really in a lot of ways was kind of learning a newer position. He was going to be an every down perimeter cornerback. The Packers never really said that was the plan, but it was pretty obvious early on with Evan Williams holding down free safety that Javon Bullard was going to play the slot.
Right.
So now again, both of these guys are questionable, and Hobbs hasn't played now in a month. But if Bullard is down, I mean, dude, I was kind of going over in my head exactly who's the next guy up there. And really, it's Nixon and Hobbs, and you need Keyshawn Nixon outside.
Yeah, so. That's what I think too. It is. It'd be, if Bullard is down, I think it does become a choice between Hobbs and Nixon, assuming Hobbs is going to come back and play this week. And I think given that choice, I don't think you move Keyshawn Nixon off the perimeter and put him inside. I think you go with Hobbs inside. It is unfortunate that Hobbs' health has just betrayed him here, going all the way back to training camp, because he missed all of those training camp reps that would have where he, as you were talking about, he was going to be playing boundary corner much more than he had played in the past, but then he didn't have the training camp in the preseason and whatnot to really get settled in there before the regular season started. And then he's also had other injuries after getting over the initial knee surgery.
This question from Drake: can you call me on my cell phone, 1-772-244-2666? That question from Drake: can you call me on my cell phone, 1-772-244-2666. I almost feel like we should have actually made a call. Maybe next week we'll make a call on air. I can even see if that's allowed. We can maybe make a call on air and see exactly what all this stuff is about, or if our social media department is just sending me random numbers. Okay, this question from Ben Kane on X, formerly known as Twitter. Are we witnessing Dontavian Wicks' breakout in real time? Oh, it's allowed. I'm being told by Renee Gabriel, I can do this, so maybe we will make a call.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll make a call. Okay. Dontavian Wicks, what a player.
Yeah, I mean, he's dealt with that calf injury this year, right? Been in and out of the lineup and whatnot, and he got called upon big time in Detroit on Thanksgiving, and he came through. And you just look at that as we talked about before, as these other guys are coming back, hopefully getting healthy. You're getting back to that full stable of wide receivers. If he's just another guy that Jordan Love can count on in certain situations, even if he's not out there every snap, but maybe he's playing 25 or 30 snaps or something like that. But if you become a reliable guy, you can become a significant contributor down the stretch here as the Packers try to make this playoff push.
Couple more minutes left. I know we got to go, but I like this question from Patrick on YouTube. How much do you think the cold will affect the passing game?
That's a really good question.
Game time temperature, I think, of 23 right now, with it probably dipping.
Yeah, it's definitely going to dip because with kickoff at 3:25, an hour into the game, it's going to be dark. The sun's going to be gone.
Actually, now they're only calling for a high of 19 and potential of snow on Sunday.
Well, that would be fun.
Wow.
Packers, Bears in the snow.
That would be something
That would be cool.
Okay.
I always feel this way, that the throwing of the football isn't as affected as much by the cold as by the potential wind, but the catching of the football can definitely be affected by the cold because the ball is colder and harder, the hands, everything like that. So I don't know what the wind situation is going to be in terms of how that will affect the quarterbacks, but it is always harder to try to catch the football when it's 15 degrees out as opposed to 55 or 65.
I can tell you that. You know how I know that? I used to try to play football competitively, and it didn't go very well for those type of reasons. That's what I do.
Now I got
you laughing.
Now you got me laughing.
Hey, guess what's happening on Sunday, Mike, at Lambeau Field? The Packers and Bears. You know what the big deal is for me? It's another edition of the Packers Game Day program. Check that baby out. We have Christian Watson featured alongside Colby Wooden and Sean Ryan, two guys that have definitely stepped up for the Packers this season. Christian Watson doing a tremendous job coming back. And actually, I'll be honest with you, this is probably the most proud I've ever been of a headline I put together for a game program. Better than ever. That was the headline we threw it on. I think, honestly, the way that Christian has played without an off-season program, without a training camp, being able to perform that way. And if you keep kind of digging through this thing, and I guess you would call it an advertisement, even though we put this in ourselves, for the Big Boom Hotline. And we got some people in our social media department are saying, "Hey, Wes, maybe we should call this number. What do you think? You want to do it?"
Give it a shot.
Okay, let's make a phone call. This is going to be in all the years that I've been streaming. And if you go back to my years at the Green Bay Press Gazette, that is now
13
years. That when I started streaming over there.
Gotcha.
So we're going to call this number. I'm saying this is the first time I ever placed a phone call in all my years doing this. Let's see what we got here.
Thank you for calling the official Green Bay Packers Big Boom Pro Bowl hotline.
That's Kevin Harlan.
Kevin Harlan.
Waited for someone to tell you what this was all about online, but you chose to call. Bold move. Vintage. We respect that. Stay on the line now to hear from our guys and make your picks. To hear from Jordan Love, press 1. To hear from Micah Parsons, press 2.
I don't know if we'll wait the whole time. Who do you want to hear from?
Josh Jacobs, press 3.
Oh, Josh Jacobs.
To hear from Rashawn Gary.
What's up, Pack Nation? It's number 8. I just want to say thank you for the support and the love that you show me. Every week I go out there and try to put on a show and give you guys the best game possible, try to put my best foot forward. Keep being great. Thank you. Much love.
Thank you for calling the Big Boom Hotline. Don't forget to cast your vote at Packers.com/Pro Bowl or 772BigBoom.com. To return to the main menu.
All right. Thank you,
star.
Kevin. We're going to put that away from now. Very cool. Another reminder. One, hats off to our social media department, everybody that's involved with that. What a remarkable, creative thing. But also, more importantly, vote. Green Bay Packers.
Absolutely.
15 in the top 10 right now amongst Pro Bowl voting amongst fans.
Yeah.
Packers showing out here early on.
Yeah, and a bunch of guys in the top 5 within the NFC.
Yes.
in terms of their potential spots.
Micah Parsons, third most fan votes so far overall while
Overall,
leading
yeah.
the defensive ends. Matt Orzik gets some love here for the big gripper.
The long snapper, yeah.
The fact that when was the last time a Packers long snappers made the Pro Bowl? Did Rob Davis ever make it?
I'd have to look it up to see if he's the first one that comes to mind for me.
Because Brett didn't, I know that.
Yeah, no, there
Matt
hasn't.
Orzik. Let's get Matt Orzik to, what is it, Orlando this year? Orlando? Or Vegas?
I don't even
I'm just trying to get them there. I'm not going with them. So, yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know.
And then Evan Williams, the number 1 amongst NFL special teams players, in addition to being top 5 in the NFC for safeties, free safeties. Okay. You want to wrap this thing up? The Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, Sunday, Fox, noon Central start, or 3:25 Central start time. What do the Packers have to do to turn back their oldest rival?
It's the word my big word of the week is discipline. The Packers win this game with discipline, and that's discipline in terms of protecting the football. It's discipline in terms of your gaps in defending the run. It's discipline in terms of your pass rushing of Caleb Williams to not let him scramble around and get out and make plays with his legs. All of those discipline factors need to add up here for the Packers to be able to get a victory.
Yeah, and honestly, the biggest thing, as we've talked about time and time again, I'll say it one last time, DeAndre Swift, the way that he's playing when he's healthy, that kid is really tough. And then obviously Kyle Monangai being able to step up this year, the 22nd running back drafted this past year. They thought Swift was going to be the bell call all year long. They found out that this guy can really add something too.
Yep.
Ben Johnson's offense, you saw it in Detroit when he has a two-headed monster, how formidable it can be. The Packers have to keep a lid on it. I will also mention this because it did get sent along to me for that hotline number. Guys, others that you can hear from in that, in addition to Love and Parsons, Rashawn Gary, Daniel Whelan, Xavier McKinney, Zach Tom, Quay Walker, Keyshawn Nixon, Edgerrin Cooper, and be sure to check that out. What an awesome, awesome thing. Oh, and I did get a question from Doris Pringle on Facebook. Do you want to answer this? It's multi-part. It's like a...
Doris doesn't keep it simple anymore.
I was told from my boss that if we don't answer 2 and 3, don't come back upstairs. And I have to finish inbox, so I have to go back upstairs. All right, let's just do this really quick. Ready? My favorite handsome boy, I assume that's you. Is the Bears' offense very similar to what the Lions were doing under Ben Johnson through last season? What should fans expect? Are they going to be aggressive on 4th down? Keep that in your mind. Wesley, what is up with the beard? You must be a deer hunter. No, the beard's been around for a while now. It's actually funny. I've gotten into a routine where I have the beard during the season and I shave it once the season's over. It's kind of like it's like a playoff. It's like hockey, right?
Yeah,
Playoff beard.
yeah.
Mike, have you ever dabbed, and can you do one for the viewers?
No, that's not happening.
No?
No.
No? No? Okay,
No.
all right. What do you think about the Bears? How similar are they to the Lions last year?
Well, I mean, you just mentioned the biggest similarity
running
is having that two-headed monster in the backfield that they like to establish everything on the ground, control the line of scrimmage, control the down and distance that way, set up play action for their quarterback, use that running game as a pass protector in a sense for Caleb Williams. As far as the fourth down thing, that's
I never even looked at it this week. I don't
yeah,
even know.
I'm not sure how much the Bears have gone for it on fourth down, because I guess I always considered it more of a Dan Campbell thing than a Ben Johnson thing. Ben Johnson for the Lions was always ready to call a play on fourth down because he was figuring Campbell was going to go for it a lot. But
Let's just look. I don't know how much they've done. Yeah, they're 26th in the league on fourth down. So
how many attempts do they have?
they're 44%. So what would that tell you? Probably 1 for 9. No, jeez.
No, that'd be 4
4
for
for
9.
9. Yeah, 4 for 9.
So four out of every
4
9.
9 or 8 out of 12.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop doing math.
8 out of 18.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and then what is
12 out of 27.
What are the Lions this year now? The Lions are 19th, 52%. What are the Packers at? Green Bay is now 4th in the league, 70%.
There you go.
70.6. All right. Wait, what is this? We got another thing? Okay, it's just me dabbing. All right, let's call it. Nick's got to get out of here. Adam wants to go home and see his family. He's Mike Spofford. I'm Wes Hockwitz. We thank you, as always, for joining us on Packers Preview. Stay locked in to Packers.com and the Packers mobile app. In addition to voting for your favorite Packers players, you can also check out a ton of content on our site. Mike, One Last Look will be up tomorrow. He also took a look at that takeaway battle between Green Bay, the looming battle between Green Bay and Chicago. I wrote today about kind of the reinforcements that are coming. A lot of movement this week with the Packers roster as guys getting back to practice, guys returning to practice. And in addition to the fact, I didn't get a chance to mention it until now, Jordan Love, the NFL Man of the Year, Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year nominee for the Green Bay Packers. I was able to hang out with him a little bit on Tuesday at his annual surprise shopping spree with some area kids from Better Days Mentoring. Some pretty cool stuff that Jordan Love is doing, in addition to a tremendous video package that our great broadcast department put together, surprising him with that award. But until next time, easier for me to say, he's Mike Spofford. I'm Wes Hockwitz. Stay locked into Packers.com and enjoy the ballgame.